Whenever you guys are ready.
We're ready to do this?
Okay.
You okay, Mike?
Yeah, okay.
All right.
3, 2. What comes after 2?
36.
Okay, you're 36. At least 36. Oh, hello again, everybody. We want to say this first. We have a Packers Hall of Famer and a future Pro Football Hall of Famer, Leroy Butler here, 6 feet, 197 out of Florida State. One of the greatest Packers of all time. I think so. And we, of course, have this video podcast, The Tom Pippin Show with John Dodge. Google The Tom Pippin Show or go to TomPippins.com. And especially with Leroy Butler. After this segment, we're going out sponsors, so keep an eye and ear open. We're going to make this man some money, and we hope to have him back on numerous occasions. The Packers savant is John Dodge. It's a privilege to have you, Leroy. Thank you for coming out here to Heartland at Enters, owned by Pat Enters. We have a great crew here, and we're always privileged to be here. Drama in Green Bay.
Yeah.
You know, your alma mater. What is going on?
Well, I think, again, we're not used to this. I mean, if you're a millennial, you only saw 2 quarterbacks, and you can continue to see one in Aaron Rodgers. But for 13 years, everything was pretty much, stable. Everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, last year, the 100th season of the Green Bay Packers, things started to get a little rocky. So when Mike McCarthy was fired, no one really knew how to act. Still had some games to go. And still, I'm wondering about the fan base who is so loyal. But if you think about it, guys, the only time I saw the fan base separated is when Brett Favre went to Minnesota. You actually saw people who were hardcore Packer fans wearing purple Favre jerseys. I said to myself, I don't think I'll ever see this again. But it started to happen. So then you fast forward, they get the coach they want, Matt LaFleur. I didn't see him on the radar, a lot of people didn't, but he seemed like a good fit. A young, innovative guy who can bring some new, fresh ideas because people thought Mike McCarthy was stale. Now, I was a big Mike McCarthy guy because anytime a coach can win a Super Bowl, to me, he has my respect. But the good thing about it, here's the good news to the fan base out there everywhere. Mark Murphy is in the game now. He understands how to get this back on track. And I trust what he does. I really do. And
Now, coming from you, that means a lot because there's been a lot of criticism and people concerned that he's, going somewhere where he shouldn't, even as a former player and a Super Bowl champ.
No, you're right.
But,
You're right.
But what is your point, and why are you such a believer?
Because Ron Wolf did it a certain way with Bob Harley. Here's the GM. I'm going to get out of this way, run football operations. Well, he did that with Ted Thompson and Mike McCarthy. Murphy said, you guys run it. But now it seems like I got to do it a little bit different because things were kind of different. So now Matt LaFleur will answer to Murphy. He want to bring everybody to the table like we're doing today, not just one guy. It's not just, Tom Pippin's show. John is here. We got people behind the scenes. I'm here. I think it's a better show.
I think it's the Leroy Butler show, don't you?
No.
We are giving up that Pippin's job. Most people think I'm John Milan anyway. What does it matter?
But he wanted to break down the silos and have scouts come in with reports, coaches come in with their reports. Who do you like in the film? Let's sit down and talk about it. I think things will be better because now Murphy's involved in it. So if it doesn't go right, he can honestly say, I had something to do with it. But if he gets it back on track, win a Super Bowl, we'll have to point to this part of history to say Mark Murphy sat on the sidelines and got in the game and corrected everything. Since he was the one that fired, Mike McCarthy, to me it's okay for he'd be the one to hire Matt LaFleur. Now that gives Brian Gutekunst the freedom to do football operations. But I think for the most part, and you're right about that, Tom, people still don't like the way it's structured. I just don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Yeah, I had a question. In 2011, Mike McCarthy had a historically good offense.
Yes, he did.
But in 2018, he became stale. Do you think it's personnel? Is that what happened?
It could be a combination of a lot of things. And now here's the thing about that stale offense. That's their offense had Aaron Rodgers, 2 MVPs, a lot of money. Jordy Nelson, a lot of money. Greg Jennings, a lot of money. Everybody under that umbrella made a lot of money. They put up record numbers. But for the most part, when you've done something for so long, the other defenses get paid too. And he tried to be loyal to his particular players and the overall offense. That's why when people were saying allegedly that Aaron Rodgers was changing plays, they weren't on the same page. Aaron in his mind was thinking, you know what? We put together these new plays, but we don't run them. And coaches, John, they're stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
They won't change. This system works. Do what I ask you to do, and we can get to that level. But sometimes you got to talk to the privates and the colonels in the battle. You got to talk to them too. And I think that's the disconnect of a natural born marriage that was a bad divorce. But now you have step kids involved, and that's the team. And they're watching these two parents fight. But see, one of them is gone, that's McCarthy, and everybody's looking at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron wants to do more things. McCarthy may want to run it a little bit more. They got off on the wrong page. And that's the word I hear more than anything. I've heard people say, I can call those plays. I know what they're going to do, because you've seen them forever. Now it's time, and I think we all agree that Mike McCarthy probably was going to get fired after the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way that he was fired during the season. People thought they should have given him more respect to let him finish out. But at that time, it was a blaze. Good to put that fire out.
One potential issue is LaFleur seems to be a guy that wants the quarterback to be in the pocket and make decisions. When I talk to, when I interview players in the opponent locker room, they say that the beauty and the thing that makes Aaron Rodgers unique is the ability to extend plays and you have more options. Do you see that as a potential conflict coming, or do you think that LaFleur will say, I'll help you be more efficient in the pocket, but when there's nothing open, feel free to make a play?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think it's a lot went into how do you coach Hall of Famer. Let's be honest. Aaron's a Hall of Famer. But he had so many coaches last year. Now this year, you got a quarterbacks coach, you got an offensive coordinator, and you got a head coach that's going to also call plays. LaFleur has the luxury of building his team based on what he thinks is the best thing for the team. He wants to run the ball a lot. That's why he brought back Mercedes Lewis, Jimmy Graham, 2 big tight ends. They may even draft another tight end, or they may use Robert Tonyan. He wants to have 3 to 4 tight ends. You may see 2 or 3 fullbacks, because he wants to set up play action, get the ball out on the perimeter. But at the same time, you may not see Aaron Rodgers with the numbers Patrick Mahomes may have, and some of these other gaudy numbers, but he'll be more efficient. Aaron threw the ball away and got sacked combined more than any time in his whole career. LaFleur wants to limit that. More opportunities. This moves to change. So if it's 3rd and 14, his receivers are going to run routes at 18, not at 24, and the ball hits the ground. It's going to be pay attention to detail. Detail. I think Aaron's going to enjoy this offense, because it's going to allow him to be the MVP he can be. If it's not there, he will run. But at the same time, we're better if you stay protected and you still stay healthy.
Leroy, we want to have the privilege of your thoughts on the draft and talk about your perspective, as John mentioned, coming out as a second rounder in 1990. But I want to ask you about Matt LaFleur. I understand who can know, right? I mean,
it's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah. He's a young man. So is McCarthy, about the same age. He doesn't have the persona, the strong personality of your old coach, Mike Holmgren. But do you feel, A, that he can get the job done, command the locker room, and B, can he connect with number 12, which obviously is job number 1, I think?
That's also a good question. But if you think about it, let's be honest. If I'm 39 years old, I'm more comfortable hanging out with guys my age. Aaron Rodgers, 35. I'm not comfortable hanging out with guys 55 or 60 years old. We have nothing in common. So I think the brilliant part of hiring Matt LaFleur was you hire almost like a colleague and a partner for Aaron Rodgers to understand they think alike, because they both want to win. They both want to put up points. And if we disagree on how we get to those points, we're going to sit down and come up with a great plan with Nathaniel Hackett and say what's best for this team. Okay, and I think that's a good thing about it. So having a young coach at this point is good. It's good. It really is good because everything is starting to change now. So I don't want to be the get off my lawn guy, the prehistoric dinosaur type guy to open it up because I'm 50 years old. I want to hang out with guys from Super Bowl 31 who are in their 50s.
What are you doing hanging out with our muscle cookies?
You guys are in my
Older than
range too.
Methuselah, yeah. Oh, no,
But it just makes sense to do that, and I think they respect each other. That's why they've talked about it, how they're going to have a philosophy of doing the offense, and I think it's going to be good because guys are going to get a chance to voice their opinion. In the past, they really couldn't do that.
Want to go back to 1990?
Let's go back to 1990. This is the 100th anniversary of the Packers, so we like to look back on things. Tim and I both covered the 1990 draft, and the Packers had 2 number 1 picks, and then they had the 48th pick. The 48th pick, they took a defensive back from Florida State. Talk about, did you have any inclination that the Packers were going to take you, or bring us back to 1990?
Well, I tell you what, no, I really didn't. And I think I'll never forget this. I really thought Houston Oilers were going to take, they spent more time with me. They talked to me intimately. I mean, I got in the room and did all the board, showed them coverages. I spent time with them. But I did talk to Dick Duran, who I liked very much, because he was just such a down-to-earth guy. If I ever get lucky enough, if God willing, I ever get into the Hall of Fame, he would be one of the few guys I will talk about, because it was just a few things that we talked about that made me think as a player what I could bring to the NFL, but I didn't think they were going to draft me. So when I got that phone call, it was different because it was Lee Rimmel. Lee Rimmel is on the line, and he said, "Can I speak to Leroy Butler?" You know how he talks, and I was frozen, like they're actually calling me.
Oh.
And I remember him putting Lindy Infante on the phone, and Lindy Infante was like, "Do you have any questions? Because we're thinking about selecting with the 48th pick." I said, "Yeah, Coach. Where's Green Bay? Don't you guys play in Milwaukee?" He goes, "Well, sometimes we play here, sometimes we play." He was explaining, and he was laughing, and I could hear people laughing in the background. He said, "Okay, we're going to select you, 48th pick. Go tell your family." You know, I said, "Well, I'm in a separate room. We have rotary phones. I can't leave. I have this long cord on it," and they're still laughing. "You have a rotary phone?" I said, "Yeah, I'm in the inner city. This is the projects. All we have is devil eggs and water. We'll wait for this phone call." I mean, we got all these people in this apartment with no air conditioning. It's like 150 degrees in there. I mean, you saw the devil sitting on an ice cube with a fan like it's hot. It's hot. Is the phone gonna ring? And they're dying laughing, so my family sees my name. My mom prays and thanks God. I love the opportunity, and I thank the Packers so much for giving me the opportunity. You know, John, that never left my mind. I never wanted to go free agent anywhere because I thought I owed it to the Packers for giving me an outlet and a platform to do something as an African American in the projects, you know, in a wheelchair with club feet, coming to the most storied franchise. And it was 3 times. I was close to going free agent, but me and Ron Wolf, as men, we worked it out. And I think if you look at that particular draft in 1990, I don't know if as many guys stayed with their original team, but I just know I was one of them.
You know, he's an author. The Leroy Butler story, of course, has been around from wheelchair to the Lambeau Leap. If you haven't read it, it's an incredible read. He is a chef. He is a businessman. Yeah. He is a broadcaster. He is extremely gifted, and I think it's worth mentioning as we speak to you. It's Holy Saturday. We've got Resurrection Sunday, and what Jesus did, and we've got Passover. Your mother, as you said, a woman of faith, God rest her soul, one day closer to seeing her. How much impact did she have on your life to become the person that you became, and the gift to connect with people, because as John said, that was one of your strong suits with the media. We can get into that, but talk a little bit about your.
Yeah, well, my mom, as most parents are, they may not know it, but they're a true role model. And sometimes we take that for granted. I mean, I love grandparents mainly because of free babysitting. It's amazing. But my mom, because my dad and her got divorced when I was like 4, so she was the mom and the dad. And she used to always tell me how to deal with everything. Kids used to bully me in school for being poor. She told me to just ignore them. It's just like a game. And she asked me one day, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to play in the NFL. I really do. I like the way one guy, he gets in this huddle in a circle, he yells at them and they go do exactly what he just told them. I like that. And she started laughing. She never told me I couldn't do it. Most moms, even if it's negative, they're gonna figure out a way for how if you won't take it so personal if it doesn't happen. Because she told me that God gave everybody a talent, but you have to figure out what it is. And one of my talents was, if it's negative, I can block it out. I can block it out and just concentrate on the positive. It was 3 words. 3 words I always thought about my whole life. It was God and the NFL. That's all I cared about. So if it was kids picking on other kids or rumor, nope, I don't want to hear about it unless you want to talk about, your faith or you want to talk about the NFL. Because those are 2 things I know more about than anything. And she told me, don't give up. You're not the biggest, you're not the strongest, you have club feet, you're not real fast. Even my 40 time in the combine was like 4.5 something, I don't know, but it wasn't 4.3 like most guys. She said, you're just going to have an ability to do things that you want to be. But the main thing, I want you to network and get to know people. Because the more people get to know you, then there is no bullying. There's nothing negative they can say if you come down to their level or bring them up to where you are, or you get to their level. Just network and get to know people. And the thing about her real quickly, she told me, I'll never forget this. We went to church. She used to take me to the kids' church, and we used to go down in the basement, like 200 kids down there. She said, you come back, I want you to know every kid in here's mom and dad's name and his name or her name. I said, Mom, that's kind of creepy. I can't do that. She said, no, I want you to do it. She got back a couple hours. I know every kid's name, their mom and dad. And it was awkward walking up to somebody, a stranger, and say, hey, my name is Leroy Butler. And from my address is 642 Court H. And where are you from? And whoa, come on. Now some kids are like, hey, I'm from here, and I like pizza, you like pizza. But everybody started to like me, and I like them. So it was nothing negative to do. She just taught me to do that in all of my surroundings, and I just appreciate that gene that she gave me.
And you, of course, from that, it would seem, you were able to block out the negative, growing up in a challenging environment. You told the story about how Bobby Bob, when he didn't want to get out of the car. But you were able to take that straight and narrow path, and then, as it relates to Mom and all the lessons you learned, you're still striving for excellence. And I think I can sincerely say, and anybody who knows you would agree, the excellence goes beyond the football field in every endeavor. Is that part of that motivation comes from back then?
Absolutely. I do quite a few things in the community. People ask me all the time, why are you still living in Wisconsin? Like, what do you mean? What's wrong with Wisconsin? I said, think about it. This is the best state anywhere. What are you talking about, Leroy? We got an MVP in football, baseball, and we'll have one in basketball. Let me know what your state's doing right now. Not to mention, people seem in Wisconsin, I go to Pick and Save or the mall, people genuinely like each other. In other states, and I'm from Florida, you don't see that. So it's easy for me to be amongst the people who I call my owner because they have their stock certificate in their basement, and I've signed thousands of them. I just think it's a great way for a story to end for anybody. That I do ask some of the ex-players why they don't live in Wisconsin, and they want the weather. Well, listen, if it's cold, stay inside. I'm okay with it. It's just, I just enjoy Wisconsin. And it goes back to that phone call I got from Leroy, and I felt I had to be loyal to this state. and loyal to the Green Bay Packers.
Shall we start talking a little bit about Leroy's situation? You say coming in 1990, and then get his perspective on the upcoming NFL draft. As we speak, it's coming in 5 days, right?
Yes, coming in real fast.
One question. Tom Bratz came down after he kicked you,
Yeah.
and he said, I remember, a lot of people think he's going to be a safety. We think he can be a corner, and they put you at corner at the start. Talk about the transition from corner to safety. And
I never told this story. I get the phone call. I come in. I was 3 days late. Wasn't my fault. It was a 3-day holdout. Packers just didn't want to,
only hate it, right?
Actually, Bratz he figured out a way back then with incentives to pay you more so it would look good not only through the union but in the media. So it was like you can have this great way to get paid a lot of money, but we're going to structure it. All you have to do is stay healthy. I think he was ahead of his time of structuring contracts so guys can feel like, that it's not a long-term deal. You're locked in and you can actually get out of it. But at the same time, if you work out, you stay out of trouble, you be a good person off the field, they will pay you for that. And it was brilliant. So when I came in, I went to the depth chart first. I saw the depth chart guy. I didn't see my name. And he was like, well, you're not up there because you're not practicing. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm the second round pick. I want to start. He said, no, you may not start. That was the first time somebody was honest with me and didn't just tell me, oh, you're going to start. It was difficult because I knew in the back of my mind I played safety and corner. So I played corner for a couple years, and then all of a sudden I got a phone call from Ray Rhodes. And Ray Rhodes said, listen.
San Francisco? Or?
No, he was in Green Bay.
He was in Green Bay. Okay.
He said, I got this great idea. I said, what's that? They're going to probably draft Leroy Butler. You got to go to safety. I said, huh? Well, wait a minute. I was a corner. I was a safety. I could play both, but come again? He said, no, listen. I said, but coach, I'm not big enough to play safety. He said, no. The way I envision, I want my base defense to stay on the field. If you can cover a third receiver, I can do more things. So I think you'll be one day be a Hall of Famer. He said that. If you do these things, so they draft Leroy Butler. Now I'm a safety, and now I kind of get on with my career.
The rest is history.
And I was like, okay, it was great. And I never wanted to go back to corner because safety seemed to me to be most fun. Because if you're a safety, you get that name for a reason. But if you look behind you, it's the end zone, okay? So they put a lot of trust in me. And if it wasn't for Ray Rhodes, I don't know what my career would have been, but he was right. I really enjoyed playing safety. That was awesome.
The beginning of the Ron Wolf era, I think, occurred in the third week of '92. Mm-hmm. You're down 17-3. First play in the fourth quarter, T-Buck takes the punt back against Cincinnati.
Yes.
And I was watching your sideline, and it was completely just everybody's down, and we're going to lose our third straight game. He took that back, and what is it about Florida State guys in the open field? It's just different. You can tell. You don't even look at the flip chart. That's got to be a Florida State guy, right?
Yeah, and I don't know how you're brilliant. How you remember this stuff?
These the Packers survived.
This is amazing because you're right about that. That Cincinnati game, Don Mikowski just got hurt, and Terrell Buckley. And I remember Terrell Buckley saying that he was going to be Jim Thorpe. It just seemed like Mickey Andrews was our defensive coordinator. Martin Mayhew, Deion Sanders, myself, Terrell, numerous other corners. He always taught us, once you get the ball, you're not a defender anymore, you're an offender. Score. Mm-hmm. And do it with style and grace. He taught us that. I intercept the ball and just don't get down. No, you just try to score. And it was just something about that. But I used to do punt return. Terrell did it. Of course, Deion did it. But that game changed a lot for the franchise.
It really
too.
did.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
From the perspective of the draft, as we move forward? Leroy, there are so many possibilities out there. Will they go offense now that they have the free agents? How about, first of all, please, your perspective on what the Packers did in free agency? How much of a difference? You've got the O-line, but how much of a difference will those three players make potentially to improve that team?
I think it's going to work together. It's going to all be synchronized. You needed a pass rusher, so you have the Smith brothers. And you have, because Clay Matthews was somebody that's been here for a long time. He's a Packer Hall of Famer. It was going to be difficult. How do you move on for that? As well as Randall Cobb. But the defense, actually, if you look at it statistically, was like top 5, top 10 in sacks. But it was Kyler Fackrell who got 10 sacks. He had a breakout year. But they needed more. So Nick Perry wasn't coming back. So there's their replacements. An offense, Turner is going to be a guy, a kind of a swing offensive line. They can play him at guard if they want. They can play him at tackle if they want. Now the pressure isn't so much on the draft to get an impact player. You can be very, very astute at this spot because they've had reports, allegedly. Drew Lock, quarterback, was here. They've had Jonah Williams, who I think they should take it to 12th pick, offensive lineman from Alabama. But, Devin White, Sweat, they have so many guys that can do. You do that to send the smoke screens. Because if all these quarterbacks drop, do you pass on a quarterback? If you go back, when they drafted Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre was about the same age, same thing going on, but I don't know if you can draft a guy with this many holes that high. But if these quarterbacks come out with Haskins, or one of these guys drop there, do you select a quarterback? Or you fake like you're going, the head fake, like I may drafted, and some team 7 spots back say, we got to get this guy.
Before Green Bay.
Absolutely. Because they're putting out there these smoke screen. They may draft this guy, they move up, you can get an extra first round pick or an extra second round pick and fill more holes. I thought it was brilliant to bring in quarterbacks. I mean, I thought it was a good way for Gutekunst to be. This will be really his first draft. That's an impact draft that's so high. Because you never want to draft in the top 12 again. You want to draft in the 20s and 30s because that means you're going to the playoffs and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But I think, to me, if you're going to get Aaron Rodgers, you're kind of up before Russell Wilson, highest paid quarterback, you must protect him. Because last I checked, Khalil Mack is still on the south side. So you got to start building a line to stop this guy. Otherwise, he's going to wreak havoc on you for the next 3 or 4 years. So I think it'll be an offensive lineman. If they get a player, Quint Williams or something, the best defensive lineman there, I don't know how you pass on him either. But they're in the position because of free agency to just sit back and let this thing navigate to us and just see what happens. And I think they're in a great position at number 12.
We've got a couple of minutes, in part because we don't want to keep you here all day, although we would love doing it here.
I'd probably keep y'all here.
That'd be madness. We talk about McCarthy and Rodgers and everything, all the stuff that came up.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it, you know this better than anyone. Ted Thompson's last 3 drafts were not great, and that's in part why they're there. We saw what the Saints did in a relatively short amount of time after subpar seasons, below 500. Can this draft, with Aaron Rodgers, help me? If everything comes together, can the Packers contend for a championship in this coming season, or do they have to wait till 2020?
That's a very interesting question because I really do feel like the NFC is wide open. I mean, the Rams scored 3 points in the Super Bowl. So you have to feel like with Aaron Rodgers, you have a better chance of getting to the NFC Championship game than any team because he's the best quarterback in the NFC, whether people want to argue that or not. But this is our show. We can do whatever we want. So
it's your show. We're just out of the bookends.
Let's
get that straight.
With that being said, I think they got 2 more holes to fill and they can compete. They have to find a safety that's more athletic to go with Amos. They have to do that. And they have to find another impact guy in the slot. Randall Cobb destroyed Chicago for years. I mean, just go YouTube it. The guy was amazing. Right now, it's a big hole in that slot. They got to put somebody there because that guy can be your return guy. Dak is like killing two things. Well, I don't want to say a bird or whatever, but you can knock out two things in one throw. That's a big hole with Randall Cobb because he was a great leader. Not only was Aaron Rodgers one of his best friends. If you get those two positions, short of safety and the slot, you can compete with these teams in the NFC. And once you get to the Super Bowl, anything can happen. They're on a fast track right now. It will be a lot of on the job training because LaFleur's never done a head coaching job before. But the good thing about it is, for some reason, if this ship's get a little rocky, you have a great captain in Aaron Rodgers. He can get you back on track. He'll keep you relevant. That's the reason why you got 4 out of your first 5 games on national televised. That's the reason. So you just need everybody else, the Devontae Adams, those guys, they will step up and put up big numbers. But in defense, who's going to be that guy? Because Matthews is gone. And that guy has to be Mike Daniels, Califacker, and these guys. Kevin King has to be healthy. They got the guys, but they got to be healthy. And I think that's a good way to challenge. So I use that word. If you're not challenging your guys, then you're rebuilding. You can do both. You can do both. Then you got to look at the teams around you. Minnesota, good defense. Quarterbacks are going to put up a lot of numbers. Detroit. I mean, they can throw it all the time. And again, you're going to play Chicago. So the good thing about it is, for all Packer fans, I would not be worried about this team as much as people were worried back in 1992, 93 when we had that transition. People were really worried coming off the 80s. This is going to be a terrible team. We're going to be bad. Mike Holmgren, he's never coached before. We don't know who is this Brett Favre guy they traded for. Oh, woe is me. We remember that.
Favre? Yeah. How do you say that guy's name?
I remember the Anthony Dilwick days and the Blair Kills.
DJ Rubley.
Give me some heartburn medicine. I mean, this is just.
Better take a sip of water.
I know, right? Why you do that to me? But people, we can calm down, relax, and let's get on this ride together. Because I really think it's going to be a lot stable than people think.
We've got maybe one quick question from the Packers savant and the Hall of Famer, draft related or otherwise, as we take it out with great thanks to you, Leroy.
Well, the pressure's on it. Ted Thompson, his philosophy was to not sign free agents, except for big ones. He got Peppers and whatever, but he wanted to let people go and get comp picks. I thought it was interesting, in your take, that Gutekunst, since he signs players, won't get comp picks, but he was able to get a 4th-round pick for HaHa Clinton Dix right at the trade deadline. And the way for what he signed with Chicago, that they would have received a 7th-round comp pick for that. So, can you talk about the safety play a little bit? Because when HaHa left, they brought people in off the street and they moved Tremont Williams over, and I didn't notice that much of a difference, that much of a drop-off. Did you see the same thing, or did you?
No, I think you're right. I think with Gutekunst, another brilliant thing he did with Jair Alexander is he traded that spot, moved back, and picked up the Saints 30. So now they can pick a safety up at 30 if they want. I like the Jonathan Abrams guy at safety. But here's the difference between Ted Thompson, who's going to the Packer Hall of Fame May 4th, and I'll be there for that. He just saw it differently. If he was still here, Jordy Nelson would still be here. Randall Cobb would still be here. And you probably would see, Nick Perry, all those guys would still be here. And that you're right about all the stress would be in the undrafted free agents. And they just hopefully hit like a Sam Shields. Gutekunst is more of a fast pace to say, listen, we'll spend the money, but I got to save some just in case and get the 1-year deals in July. And, in June and July and August, veterans was out there like the Wilkerson deal. 1 year, he got injured. But the 1 year, $5 million deals. So he's trying to juggle all of that. And it's been fun to see him put it together. Because you're right. To Ted, my free agent was re-signing my guys. That's signing a free agent. I mean, it's semantics, but that's the way he saw it. He wanted to invest in his team, not so much into somebody else's team. Because the Martellus Bennett thing just didn't work. And I think it just spooked a lot of people. Oh, well, maybe we should do free agency. But no, they have to do both. You got to draft and development, but at the same time, you need veterans in that locker room. And I'm a little biased, but the safety position has to be on point. You cannot miss. It's a one position you can't miss. You can miss on corner if you can get him help. You can miss on a linebacker if you can get him help. You can never get a safety help. So you got to draft a safety, and you got to give the Josh Joneses of the world a chance to find out how good he really is. But you got to get a playmaker right there with Amos to just make plays. And if you don't, you're going to see a lot of stress put on the secondary. And now you're going to get in shootouts every week. And that's the stress you don't want to put on your play caller, which is Manafort.
It's a good year for safeties.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's a deep year for safeties.
Yeah, it really is.
Not for corners,
Yeah,
but for
but
safeties.
for safeties, yeah, you're right.
You know, we feel like we have a podcast with this expert here. I can call the star of the show. Are you ready to share this, or are you ready to kind of defer? Right? Are you ready
Absolutely.
to step aside.
Well, Hall of Famer,
We have-
absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, no.
So we feel like we're a playoff contender, but you make this a Super Bowl championship podcast. But of course, we need to get out there and sell it and have sponsors. So we're going to be doing that. And if you're interested in knowing more, just again, Google the Tom Pippins Show with John Dodds, or go to tompippins.com. But you'll see this latest cast with Leroy Butler. We hope to make him a permanent member of the team. We cannot thank you enough for taking the time to come
Always
out and be
my
with
pleasure.
us.
Well, you know I love
Yeah,
you. So
you're the best.
Yeah, that's
He
no doubt
is the
about
best, and he will be in Canton, as John, as you said, soon. So again, thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
Really
you, John.
appreciate your company and look forward to being with you again soon. Bye-bye.
And I also did again with Ray Rose and Mike Sherman. And you kind of look for those kind of nuances, but you have to bring the team together. But at the same time, when the schedule came by, that really was a good thing for the Packers, for people concentrating on that schedule. But the NFL leaked out already that the Packers would play Chicago for the first game. I thought they were going to just do the Super Bowl rematch, but they said no. For our 100th year, we're going to do the most storied rivalry